Welcome into Delta High School, home of the Eagles. We are here on senior night as they take on Newcastle. We'll get you the starting lineups here in just a moment. Chris Presley here with Sam Niger. Thanks for joining in on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com. Sorry for a little bit of technical difficulties here, but we were rushed in, ready to go, and all is well now as the Newcastle Trojans take opening possession. Up top with the ball is Taylor, now down in the corner. Taylor will set things up, a near steal, and it's taken away by the Eagles. So an early defensive stop as the Eagles will start 5 seniors here this evening. Here's Elliott, swings the ball right side to Stitt. He looks low, ball tipped away out of bounds and will stay here with the Eagles. So quickly want to give you an update. Delta comes into the game 11-8 on the season, coached by Mark Detweiler, 105-37 at the school. His last game picked up his 340th victory. Newcastle 9-9 on the season. They're in green playing defense, but down the lane, no good. And the rebound pulled down by the Trojans. Three-pointer on the way for Newcastle, in and out, no good, fought for underneath. They'll come away with it, and we have a whistle and a double dribble. Ball goes back over to the Eagles. So, Sam, thanks again for doing color here this evening. What are you looking for from both these ball clubs?
Yeah, thanks for welcoming me in. Good to be here at Delta. I think both of these teams are two middle-of-the-road programs right now in the Hoosier Heritage, but I think an important game like this might be kind of a gauge as to what these two teams can accomplish down the stretch. They've got not a whole lot of games ahead of them before they head into the postseason, but two middle-of-the-road teams taking on each other here could be a good test for both sides to see what they have to offer in the postseason.
Well, Jones was there for the pull-up jumper for Delta. That miss sends it back into the hands of Newcastle. So no score here, 6:36 to play in the first quarter.
Just some jitters right now from both sides shooting the basketball. Senior night for the Eagles.
On the baseline, the jumper from Welsh is no good, but he'll head to the free throw line on the foul. That foul will go against number 21, Abram Stitt, his first, team's first. So Welch, who leads the team in scoring at 16.5, will step to the line looking to get the Trojans on the board first.
Welsh, a prolific scorer as he hits that first free throw, leads the team in field goals made, three-pointers made, leads the team from the free throw line. He's got 89 rebounds on the year, 42 assists, 21 steals. He leads them in almost every category. He is their go-to guy on offense. That's going to be a key for Delta tonight. If they can slow him down, they have a good shot at winning this ball game.
So after that first made free throw, a bevy of subs come in for Delta, replacing the seniors from senior night. So they'll have their traditional starting 5 that they've had this 2022-2023 season. Here with the ball is Bond. Down the lane, off the window, good for 2. He ties things up with 6:11 to play in the first quarter.
A shifty finish down low. If you give him space, he's going to be able to finish through traffic, and it was a nice bucket there to tie things up for Bond.
2-3 zone. We'll see if the Trojans can shoot him out of it as Hinton knocks down the 3.
These are two teams not afraid to shoot the 3-ball. Ethan Hinton has 20 on the year, make it 21 with that one.
So here's Bond. Comes off the screen. The Eagles will look to work something around the perimeter, something we'll likely see most of this evening. Now drive baseline, shot is up and no good. Nearly falls there for Fernie, but we have a whistle on the rebound attempt, and I believe that's going to go against Fernie, and it is.
Shot might not have dropped for the Eagles, but this offense has great spacing right now early. I know they had the seniors in to start this game, but now that they've got their traditional guys in, they're finding some good offensive pacing and space, and they've looked pretty good. We'll see if they can get some more shots to fall here in the coming minutes.
5:30 to go in the first quarter. 5-2 is the score. The Trojans with the lead in the green uniforms. Ball swung to their leader, Welsh. He'll pull up from a deep 3. That rattles in and out, and back to the Eagles it goes.
Welsh might be a great scorer, but he shoots a lot of threes, 119 on the year heading into tonight.
Bond in the corner. He drives in, fumbles the possession, now swings it back out to Hood. Here's Maynor now. Johnny Maynor back to Bond. Thought about the three. Strong move in the lane, but blocked away. Tyson Lewis comes up with the block, and off we go the other way. Three-pointer for the Trojans, and that falls. That was Colin Taylor for three, and he puts his team up 8-2 with 4:35 to play in the first quarter.
This has been great transition basketball from Newcastle so far.
Damari Hood shot off the mark, rebounded by the Trojans. Once again, want to apologize. We will try and bring you as much action in that bottom right-hand corner. There are a lot of outlets here this evening, so we got positioned on the far left side of the floor, just behind the Delta bench. So, again, apologies about that, but we will do our best to keep you updated. 4:09 to play in the first quarter. 8-2 is the score. Another three-pointer by the Trojans. That one caroms hard off the back of the iron and into the backcourt it goes. Hood will not track it down in the corner. Wisely lets it go out of bounds, and that's where Delta will take over on this next possession.
And Newcastle has not been afraid to shoot the three ball here early in this first quarter. They're just a 32% shooting team from beyond the arc this year, but they chuck up a lot of threes, and they do get a lot to fall. It's one of their main flows of offense.
So with the shade under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter, trailing by 6, Maynor was there tracking the ball down. Now here's Bond. Jump stop underneath, the little Mike and layup will fall for Delta.
I believe it was Jackson Wars that time. That's their leading scorer, and it was a nice assist that time by Bond. He's been getting some nice penetration against this defense early.
Still in a 2-3 zone. Nice deflection by Hood. We'll see if they come away with it, and they do. They have numbers. Hood will leak out to the right corner. His three off the mark, back towards the Eagles. Back towards the Trojans. 3:14 to play in the first quarter. This is Butler. Now we have man-to-man defense for the Eagles, and a foul there on the reach-in. If that's Fernie, that is his second, and it is.
Yeah, this has been a physical game here early, Chris. Both of these student sections getting into it as well. It's a great atmosphere here at Delta, but a bit chippy for it only being the first quarter.
In the backcourt, the catch there, Colin Taylor. Taylor looks to work off the pick, now swings it back over to Butler. Butler guarded tightly by Maynor. Great defense up top here now by the Eagles. Driving down the lane, looking to make something happen is Ethan Hinton. He gets his 5th point of the first quarter.
Hinton is the 6'2 senior. He's a Swiss Army knife on this team. Doesn't really lead the team in any categories, but he gets it all done for the Trojans, and he shows you why there.
Wares inside. Can't get it to fall, but will head to the free throw line. His team trailing 10-4. Exactly 2:30 to play in the first quarter. That foul will go against Hinton, who just hit that last conversion for the Trojans.
That's a big body driving the lane there at 6'3 for Jackson Wars. Only a junior, but when he gets down in low in the paint, he's hard to stop.
So the big man settles in at the free throw line and converts on the first. Going to go ahead and take this short break in action to thank our sponsors. A lot of sponsors here this evening: Universal Roofing and Exteriors, Greg Hubler Ford, Genesis Sports Performance, Ray Skillman Kia, Tom Wood Nissan, Werner Financial, and Sullivan Hardware and Garden. So Wars makes both free throws, cutting the lead to 4. 10-6 is the score. 2:24 to play in the first quarter. Here on the catch is Hinton. He drives in. There's going to be a bump on the drive.
We've heard a couple of boos from the student section after these Delta fouls, and on that one I might agree with them just a tad. Maybe getting a little ticky-tacky here early in the first quarter, but they're trying to keep a clean game.
Yeah, that one goes against Blake Jones, his first, team's 4th. Back to a 2-3 zone now here for Delta. See if the Trojans can shoot them out of it. They've done a great job thus far, already converting on 2 threes. Can't convert on that pass, however, as it skirts out of bounds. back to the Eagles.
I think the 2-3 zone just threw the Trojans off a little bit there. They were used to the man-to-man for a couple of minutes. They've shot well in this game, but it just got the best of them that time. It's been a good job by Delta mixing up these defensive looks. It's been effective.
Bond fakes like he was going off of the screen. Now will drive the lane. The teardrop can't fall. Fighting for it underneath and tipped out by Bond. Maynor will track it down at the timeline. Hood fakes the three, driving, step back jumper just short. Trojan basketball.
Damari Hood is flying all over the court right now. That shot might have dropped, not have dropped for him for the Eagles, but he has been all over looking for rebounds and with assists.
So around the horn go the Trojans, trying to find some sort of hole in this 2-3 zone defense. Welsh, the man out front, calls to set up the offense. Taylor back over right to Butler. So no spacing really here on the floor as everyone is to the right side of the floor. Down low it goes to Welsh. He'll get the up and under to fall, however.
Yeah, you can't leave Gavin Welsh open like that. Such a prolific scorer down low. There was hardly anybody on him, and he's going to make that 10 times out of 10.
So 12-6 is the score. The visiting Trojans with the lead. 51 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Maynor. He looks inside, now pops it up to Bond, who will drive. He picks up his dribble, back out to Hood. Swung, right, three-pointer by Jones, no good. Rebound fought for and won by the Eagles. Maynor now will set things up. So here's Bond in the corner. Off the screen, back on the roll. Out to Bond, 21 seconds remaining here in the first quarter as Maynor now sets things back up for the Eagles. We'll see when motion will start. It's usually around the 8-second mark. And they're going to go with 6. So Maynor now 4. Out to Bond, 3, 2. In and out, no good. Deflection. Hood, can he get it off? He cannot. Although the shot fell after the buzzer, taking us to the end of the first quarter. 12-6 is the score. Sam and I will be back here in just a moment after these words from our sponsors.
Drive home your new Kia from the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue. We have brand new Kias arriving daily.
Plus, we have a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from.
And payments as low as $199 a month.
We service all makes and models.
And we'll buy your old car on the spot. Right, Oscar?
Y hablamos español.
Come see us at the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue.
It's not just a car dealership for me. This is my dealership.
Just minutes from anywhere in Indy or online at rayskillmanshadeland.com.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work at a fair low price. They care about their customers, simply providing great customer service. Quality, honesty, dependability. That's Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Call us today at 317-257-0779.
We are back here at Delta High School. Start of the second quarter, 12-6 is the score. The visiting Trojans in the green uniforms with the lead here on senior night in the house that Matt Painter built. I'm sure these fans in attendance were happy with the game last night up in West Lafayette. We moved our camera for you guys back at home. Hopefully that makes things a little bit better for you. Sorry for the railing there a little bit in that first quarter. So a quick turnover by Delta on their first possession gives it back to the Trojans. Step through by Welch. Down on the baseline. The Trojans get trapped there. Back court it goes. We will see and know that will go out of bounds again. And Vince, that's twice now in this first half that we've seen a pass like that for Newcastle.
Yeah, Chris, they're being just a little bit careless with the basketball right now. What's kept them in this lead is their ability to shoot the ball, but if they don't start taking care of the basketball, Delta is a team that's very capable of catching up to them.
Blake Jones in the corner will do the inbounding. 7:26 to play here in the second quarter. That pass is errant and goes into the hands for Newcastle of Colin Taylor. He now looks to drive. Bounce pass down low to Lewis. He nearly fumbles the ball away. Nice defense by Maynor. Trojans going from left side to right. Another three-pointer on the way for Newcastle. That one no good, and Maynard there for the board. 7 minutes even to play here in the second quarter. Newcastle leads 12-6. Here's Damari Hood. Thought about the up and under move, gets through. However, there on the rejections, Taylor from the weak side.
Yeah, Welsh was in there too. He gets it done on the offensive and defensive sides for Newcastle.
Speaking of the offensive end, he knocks down the turnaround jumper there. That is his 6th point here of the ball game. His team now with a 14-6 lead.
Not a great sign for Delta, seeing Gavin Welch get rolling. If he starts to pick it up anymore, he's going to be tough to stop the rest of the way.
6:26 to play in the first quarter. Bond starts to drive. There's a whistle on the drive. That foul will bring in a substitution as Fernie comes in. He'll come in to replace Hood. For the first time this evening, we'll see Landon Thompson as well. He comes in to replace Hinton. 6:24 to play in the second quarter. 14-6 the score. Eagles trailing, inbound pass. That comes into Wars. He goes up, can't get it to fall. And back we go the other way for Newcastle.
And Wars is a prolific scorer down low, but there's some big bodies down there for the Trojans, and it's tough for Wars to get going without driving from outside.
Welch, he'll go baseline, pull-up jumper off the iron, no good.
These teams are just hot and cold right now, not shooting the basketball too particularly well. Of course, only 6 points right now for the Eagles. These offenses have got to start heating up soon.
Blake Jones walks it up, looked over to Coach Detweiler for the call. Maynard comes off the screen. Nice bounce pass down low. Shot no good for Wars, but he will head to the free throw line for 2.
Well, I guess if you can't get it to drop in real time from a field goal, might as well get it done from the free throw line. Wars is one of the best free throw shooters on the Eagles team. He's got the most made free throws of anybody on the Eagles squad.
Just does a great job around the basket, and that one falls, so he's a perfect 3 for 3 on the evening from the charity stripe. He now settles in for a second, and a reminder, Greg Hubler Ford at the corner of Nebo Road and McGilliard and Muncie. Promises kept at Greg Hubler Ford at greghublerford.com, and also a promise kept by Wars there as he continues his 100% mark from the free throw line.
Now, if you're Delta, you got to play stout defense. You can't let the Trojans score. Claw your way back into this game.
5:31 to play in the second quarter. 14-8 the score. Newcastle with the lead and the basketball, but we're going to go the other way as they call an offensive foul there.
Just another careless play for Newcastle. And if the Trojans aren't careful, it's high time that the Eagles start to make this game much closer than it is. All they need is a couple buckets to fall, and really they're either tied or in the lead right now.
And Waters starting to find his level as both teams have 4 fouls as we approach 5:15 to play here in the second quarter. Delta trails 14-8. They have the basketball. This is Jones. Comes off the Hood screen, gets baseline, bounce pass underneath Wars. Muscles up, nice up and under from the big man, but can't get it to fall.
So rare to see Wars miss such an open look down low. He did everything he needed to get to the look, just couldn't get it to drop.
Lewis starts to drive in. His pocket's picked by Hood. So great length there by Damari Hood, who plays solid all over the floor defensively and offensively. He's got the ball now, top of the key. Maynard fakes the handoff, drives in right side, high off the window, no good. Who else but Wars is there to clean it up.
And finally, Wars wins the big man battle down low. It's been the Trojans commanding underneath the hoop, but he got one to drop there, and it was a big bucket for Delta.
Wars with 8 here in the first half, and out of bounds it goes back to Delta, trailing by 4 with 4:15 to play here in the first half.
Well, it's a good thing they don't have the new flopping foul at the high school level, because that one was pretty sold by Welsh as he just kind of flew out of bounds under his own power.
This is Blake Jones. Wars over to Hood. Another screen at the top. Another nice drive by Maynard. He'll swing it. Blake Jones for 3. Shot hard off the back of the iron, no good. 14-10, Trojans lead their run, and it's taken away. Numbers, Hood. No good. Maynard there for the rebound. Back to Hood. Corner. Off the mark. So things intensifying, I should say, Sam, as we close in on 3:30 to play here in this first half.
And you got to give credit where credit was due to get to Gavin Welsh. He had a great block in transition there to force the corner three that was no good.
Here comes Wars. He'll lay it in off the backboard. And that will force a timeout as Daniel Cox of Newcastle wants to talk things over.
And I don't blame him, Chris. Delta has started to find their groove here in the second quarter. We said all it took was a couple of shots to fall. This team has the ability to keep scoring, and they've started to get some of these shots to drop, and now we find ourselves in what has been one heck of a ball game here through about a quarter and a half.
Well, earlier in the game, Sam, you mentioned that Wars averages 13.1 points per game. Of the 12 here in the first half, he has 10 of those 12, so he certainly came to play, and he's been a factor not only underneath but also defensively. We saw his athleticism there, which led to the timeout, just coming up top and reaching in and taking it the other way.
Yeah, he's a go-to guy all over the court. Just took him a little while to settle down. The team's starting to play much better defense, as you mentioned. Lots of steals here in this second quarter for Delta, and now they're starting to turn defense into offense, which is a scary thought for the Trojans.
The Trojans still lead by 2, 3:24 to play in the first half. We'll see some full court pressure for the first time here now by Delta. Maynard up top against Butler. Pass comes into Thompson. Wars nearly picked off another one there. Welch guarded by Maynard. Gets trapped in the corner, picks up his dribble, but swings it to the top. Butler underneath. Thompson converts for 2.
That was beautiful basketball right there on the offensive side. I was wondering why Newcastle wasn't getting as much penetration as Delta, but right there, just beautiful passing, fluid motion, and it was a nice bucket to finish.
16-12 the score. Newcastle with the lead, but Blake Jones cuts into that as he drives in.
Yeah, and there's shirts over in the student section say, "Be like Blake." He's a fan favorite here, and he shows you why with a nice bucket down low there.
Up top is Taylor. Guarded tightly by Jones. A lot of bodies hitting the floor. Jones for Delta, Welch for Newcastle. We'll see who the foul goes against.
I think they got Damari Hood maybe on the push there as Welch hit the deck hard. Hood still doesn't seem happy about it a few seconds after the play, but nonetheless looks like it's going to be Trojans basketball.
Trojans lead 16-14 with 2:15 to play here in the first half. They'll skip it back to Taylor. Taylor trying to work off Jones. Welch now puts it on the floor. Great defense up top by Damari Hood. Driving shot will fall for Ethan Hinton.
That's a tough bucket fading away from Ethan Hinton and shows you his athletic ability there. The senior called him a Swiss Army knife earlier, and he's scored the ball well tonight.
He's got 8 of their 18. 18-14 the score, 1:37 to play. Newcastle with the lead here on defense in green. Fernie, wraparound pass to Jones, up to Bond. Bond's three-pointer off the mark, no good. Tracked down in the corner by Colin Taylor. Coast to coast it goes as Ethan Hinton with back-to-back baskets for the Trojans.
One of the bright spots for Newcastle tonight has been their transition basketball. They've scored a lot of their points moving in transition, and Hinton was no exception there.
Blake Jones receives the call from Coach Detweiler. A minute to play here in the first half. They trail. The Eagles do 20-14. Looking inside to Wars. They tried it over there, but had to swing it around the perimeter. Now we'll see what Fernie can do with it. Nice jump stop. Gets his man in the air. Can't convert, and Thompson pulls it down.
Shooting woes continue for Delta. They cannot buy a bucket underneath the hoop. Seems about half the time.
We approach 32 seconds remaining here in the half. 20-14 the score. Newcastle with the lead and the basketball. We'll see if they take the air out of it, as it seems they will, and possibly hold for the final shot. Looking to go in the locker room up 8 or 9 points.
Delta battled their way back into this game in this second quarter, but Newcastle has since taken back over, just getting back to the fundamentals. They move the ball well.
Here goes Hinton, shot no good. Wars has it. We have 3 seconds as Hood drives in. Euro step, no good. Welch with the rebound as time expires, sending us to half.
Go ahead. Nothing could embody that first half more than that last point or than that last shot attempt from Hood, as he couldn't get it to drop, and Delta really struggling to score the basketball right.
(20-14) is the score. The Trojans with the lead. We will step aside here for just a minute to get some words from our sponsors. Sam and I will come back, kind of unpack what we saw in that first half, the keys for both teams, hopefully come away with the victory, and then get you ready for second half action here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459 or visit them at GenesisSportsPerformance.com.
Every day is a great day to buy a vehicle at Greg Hubler Ford.
Because every vehicle comes with our Greg Hubler promise. On top of scheduled maintenance with your vehicle, you'll also enjoy complimentary roadside assistance, service pickup, and drop-off. And a free car wash and quick wash every time you service at Greg Hubler Ford.
We're always finding new ways to put our guests first.
Mosey on into Muncie.
Greg Hubler Ford, promise kept.
Hi, I'm Steve Hartley, owner and founder of High Gear Marketing, a digital advertising company focusing on data to help businesses improve market share and drive new customers. Are you tired with the lack of accountability from your current vendors? Are you frustrated with your return on investment? Well, my program is different. You actually don't pay unless you sell something. High Gear Marketing takes all the risk. You have zero to lose. If you're interested, text me at 317-523-4100.
Try our easy-to-use Shop by Payment tool. You set what you want to spend, and our True Payments engine will find the best matches across our entire inventory. You can even add your trade-in. You'll get customized financing for every vehicle matching your budget. You'll be amazed at what you can buy. There is no impact on your credit and no obligation to buy. Shop by Payment.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459 or visit them at GenesisSportsPerformance.com.
Back here at the halftime break, 20-14 is the score. The visiting Trojans of Newcastle with the lead here on senior night at Delta High School. Coming into this game, as Sam mentioned in the pregame and also the beginning of the game, Newcastle 9-9 on the season. The Delta Eagles 11-8. Fairly evenly matched opponents. We figured it would be back and forth. Sam, what have you seen here in the first half so far?
Well, it's much of what we've expected, to be honest with you. It has been back and forth between both of these sides. The story right now is that Delta is struggling to score the basketball. Only 14 points through the first half. Nothing to write home about for sure. And, of course, Jackson Wars, their leading scorer, has 10 of their 14, so they really aren't sharing the ball as well as we thought. We kind of came into this game thinking that Newcastle would be more of a one-hit wonder and Delta might spread the ball a little bit more, but it's been kind of the opposite story. Gavin Welch, their leading scorer for the Trojans, only has 6, while Ethan Hinton has 9, so maybe not what we expected, but Newcastle has adapted well to this new role, and they've got a 6-point lead here at the half.
Yeah, when you talk about Newcastle, Sam, 6 players have scored for Newcastle, only 3 for Delta. Obviously, Wars with those 10 being the big-time contributor there in the first half. So they're going to have to find something. A little surprised that Damari Hood, who averages 12.6 points per game, hasn't got into the scoring column yet, but one would assume that will come in the second half.
Yeah, it's not that he's not throwing up shots, because these guys are certainly getting open looks, and Hood is one that's definitely had a lot of looks. Bond is another guy that you look to perhaps have a few more points, but right now shots just aren't falling for him, and it's a testament to their defense that they are only down 6 at the half when they only put up 14 points through 16 minutes. So we'll see how if the tables turn in the second half, but if they are going to be able to get this lead back, they're going to need to get it done on both sides of the ball. They're going to have to stop that Newcastle offense. I think we're in for a low-scoring game the rest of the way, but it's going to come down to big-time buckets down the stretch in terms of who comes away with a victory tonight.
Yeah, 14 points. Like you mentioned, the last game Delta played, they won 57-34 versus Mississinewa. Again, that was a 340th career victory for Mark Detweiler, so congratulations to him. So not quite the offense we expected. One would assume, looking into the second half, those scoring column or those scores should start to rise, but a good job by Newcastle, not only of forcing missed shots, but coming down with a lot of those defensive rebounds, not getting second chance looks and opportunities to Delta. And Sam, as you know, as we start to trickle our way towards sectional play, these are games that you really want to start making sure all of your kinks are out and you're ready to go as you head into the postseason, as Delta has 3 games remaining on their roster, all on the road. And then when you look at Newcastle, they'll have 4 remaining, only 1 on the road. That's against LaPel on February 21st. So really trying to tighten things up, and I'm sure both coaches are reminding their teams that in the locker room as we speak.
I couldn't have said it better, Chris. I mean, these two teams are 1-4 each in the Hoosier Heritage Conference, which is a really tough conference. So let's give credit where credit is due. But these are two teams that have a lot of talent, so they might be able to shake things up come sectional time. But for right now, it's all about this game. This game is a great gauge for both of these programs as to where they are this season. If they're able to grind out a gutsy win tonight, I think that could do wonders for whoever wins this game tonight down the stretch the rest of the season. So a lot to look for, some big storylines for both of these sides.
And a great job by both teams' fan bases to come out here this Friday night. Nothing like some Hoosier basketball in this state, especially on a Friday night where both teams flood the gym. Great job by Newcastle of making the drive over here to Delta, and obviously a great job for their fans and the family members here to support the seniors on senior night. Sam and I are going to go ahead and step aside as both teams will have 3 minutes to get ready for second half action. We'll come back, thank a couple of our sponsors, get you ready for second half action and more here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work at a fair low price. They care about their customers, simply providing great customer service. Quality, honesty, dependability. That's Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Call us today at 317-257-0779.
Every day is a great day to buy a vehicle at Greg Hubler Ford.
Because every vehicle comes with our Greg Hubler promise. On top of scheduled maintenance with your vehicle, you'll also enjoy complimentary roadside assistance, service pickup, and drop-off. And a free car wash and quick wash every time you service at Greg Hubler Ford.
We're always finding new ways to put our guests first.
Mosey on into Muncie.
Greg Hubler Ford, promise kept.
Drive home your new Kia from the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue. We have brand new Kias arriving daily.
Plus, we have a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from.
And payments as low as $199 a month.
We service all makes and models.
And we'll buy your old car on the spot. Right, Oscar?
Y hablamos español.
Come see us at the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue.
It's not just a car dealership for me. This is my dealership.
Just minutes from anywhere in Indy or online at rayskillmanshadeland.com.
Well, this halftime break here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com was built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit Universal at universalrfg.com or give them a call at 317-257-0709. And also Genesis Sports Performance. Visit Genesis at genesissportsperformance.com. That's GENESIS sportsperformance.com. 20-14 the score. The visiting Trojans from Newcastle with the lead as we head into the third quarter. Sam, what are some key players on either one of these teams that you're keeping an eye on?
Well, certainly I'm with as low of a score as that first half was, only 14-20. You kind of look to guys that maybe haven't added their tally to the score sheet yet. For Delta, the home team, I'm looking at Damari Hood. He's been flying all over the court, grabbing some rebounds, playing great defense. He's dished the ball out well. He just hasn't been able to find any kind of buckets dropping for him. I look to him. He averages 12.7 points per game. If he's able to find a couple of buckets here in this second half, that could be huge. And then for Newcastle, I'm actually looking at their leading scorer on the year, Gavin Welsh. Only 6 points in that first half. If he gets rolling, he could really seal the deal for Newcastle here in half number 2.
Well, there was your players to watch here in the second half from Sam Niger as we are underway back here at Delta. The Trojans with possession first. And right out of the gate, a steal by Delta and taken back by Newcastle. Fought for, but the dribble goes out of bounds and will stay here as Caleb Elliott, who got the start in the game, didn't see very many minutes, only about 1 to 2 minutes there in the first half, but he got the deflection and the ball stays here with the Eagles. Wars, nice spin move, gets his man in the air. The shot will fall, and he will head to the line. So picking up where he left off, 10 points in the first quarter. First 2 for either team here to start the third.
And that's a big bucket for Wars and the Eagles. Makes this game much more manageable, and he's starting to find his rhythm there amongst the towers underneath the hoop.
That free throw falls. That free throw brought to you by Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue in Indianapolis. 20-17, 7:30 to play in the third quarter. Trojans with the lead and the basketball. Nice drive by Hinton. He gets in the lane, decides to pass. Over in the corner to Welch. He'll drive baseline. Shot no good. Rebounded by Damari Hood.
And I think Jaden Fernie, number 20, got a hand on that for a nice block down low. Tough to climb the ladder to reject a guy like Welch.
So Vince told you to watch Hood, and right there coming up with a nice defensive play for the Eagles as they look to close in on this 3-point lead by Newcastle. Wars, now he'll step back for 3. That shot no good. That would have brought the house down to tie the game and give him 16 on the evening. Taylor up top. 6:46 to play in the third quarter. Gets it taken away from him. And again, on the deflections, Caleb Elliott. We've seen that twice now here in the third.
Great defense from Delta. Lots of steals here in this game. See if they can turn it into offense.
Maynard kicks to Elliott. Nice drive by Maynard. The wraparound pass to Fernie. Puts it on the floor. Drives in. The floater, no good, but he will head to the free throw line for 2. And we'll see who that foul goes against. That's on Ethan Hinton, his second, team's second. So with 6:22 to play in the third quarter, Delta trailing by 3. Fernie will knock down that first free throw.
And Chris, something we really haven't touched on is the size advantage that Newcastle has underneath. You can tell that the bodies are a lot bigger underneath for the Trojans. So the fact that the Eagles are starting to get things to drop underneath the hoop with some physical drives, it's a good sign for Delta.
Fernie settles in for the second. That one no good. Still being fought for underneath. Newcastle comes away with it. There goes Taylor, back tapped out of bounds, so it will stay with Newcastle. 6:13 to play in the third quarter. Their leads by 2.
No steal that time for the Eagles, but once again, careless by Newcastle, getting pickpocketed.
Quentin Boatwright sends the ball in motion. Taylor sets it up for the Trojans. On the drive, there's a whistle on the hand check. That is the first foul of the second half for Delta, and that one will go against Caleb Elliott. That is his first as well. Boatwright gets it out to Welch. Lewis, three-pointer from the left side, no good. Fernie there with the rebound, so Delta doing a good job boxing out as they look to either tie or take the lead here on this possession. 5:45 to play in the third quarter. Delta trails by 1 as Maynard calls out the play. So I keep calling you Vince, Sam.
It's all
Sam,
good.
It's clear that the Eagles are really looking to find their mark, and so far it's been passing around the perimeter here in the second half and driving when they see that open lane.
Absolutely, and really the offense hasn't changed all that much from the first half here into the second half. It's just they're getting buckets to drop now. They're drawing fouls down low, getting to the free throw line. They're playing textbook basketball, and on the other end, they're playing great defense. No points yet in this second half for Newcastle. So everything going the Eagles' way right now, for sure.
That foul goes against Quentin Boatwright for Newcastle, as now Fernie steps to the line, looking to tie this ball game at 20, and he does so. So we are knotted up 20 all with 5:29 to play here in the third quarter.
This is a tale of two ball games right now. Completely different stories from the first half to the second. Delta on a roll here in quarter number 3.
Backdoor cut, fouled on the play, and hitting the deck hard was Ethan Hinton. Hope he's all right, and he looks to shake off the cobwebs.
Just kind of landed hard on his back there. I think he went flying off of one of the defenders. Nothing malicious or anything down low. He just couldn't really control his body as he was heading to the deck, but he looks like he's okay, which is definitely a good sign for Hinton and the Trojans.
Foul goes against Maynard. His first, team second. Free throw off the mark. So we're still here tied at 20 with 5:18 to play. Hinton will look to break that tie. This free throw on the way is brought to you by Tom Wood Nissan at 96 and Keystone. It's all good at Tom Wood.
And that was just the first point of this second half for Newcastle. They may have the lead right now, but they're struggling to score the basketball, much like Delta was in that first half. They just aren't creating shot opportunities.
Drive by Fernie. His shot is up and in, so give him 5 points here in the third quarter. All 5 coming here in this column.
Yeah, how about Jaden Fernie? Starting to have a good game here in the second half. He's being physical down low, creating a lot of opportunities to score the basketball.
Three-pointer on the way, no good with 4:44 to play in the third quarter. Maynard escapes the trap, splits the double team, and is fouled. So the 4th team foul here of this period for Newcastle, as that one goes against Welch, his first.
And going back to that 3 from Newcastle, one thing that we really haven't had a chance to bring up yet, because Newcastle has been in such command of this game, is their woeful three-point shooting. They have not hardly had any buckets drop from beyond the arc, and now that they are no longer in the lead, it's becoming pretty blatant, Chris.
This is Hood. Hands it to Maynard, who will set up the offense. They look inside, nothing there, so Fernie's 3, no good. A near make there, as he's really caught fire here in the third quarter. Taylor, he'll step back for a triple of his own, and that's good. Pardon me, that's Butler. Give him his first points of the evening.
And call it an announcer's curse. As soon as I say that Newcastle struggling from beyond the arc, they hit a big one to take the lead back.
You got to love the back and forth, as now both student sections also getting into it. Things are really starting to intensify here with 3:47 to play in the third quarter. Newcastle up by 2, 24-22. Ball continuing to go around the horn. Maynard finds Fernie. 3 is good. That three-pointer puts a timeout on the floor for Newcastle. They're going to take a full. We'll take one with them here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com. Back after this.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work at a fair low price. They care about their customers, simply providing great customer service. Quality, honesty, dependability. That's Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Call us today at 317-257-0779. Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459. or visit them at GenesisSportsPerformance.com.
So back here, 3:36 to play in the third quarter, 25-24. Delta with the lead on defense here in the white uniforms. And, Sam, we've got ourselves a ball game.
Yeah, all of a sudden both teams are hitting more shots than we saw really in the whole first half. Delta has clawed their way back in. We've got some great basketball.
And just like that, underneath, nice play drawn up for Landon Thompson. His 4th point of the ball game, first here in the third quarter.
And again, moving the ball around to different guys. It's been great ball sharing by Newcastle, especially when they need big buckets. They move the ball well.
Bond looks to take the lead back for Delta and does so there on that drive.
And another guy that's just starting to get rolling here in quarter number 3, Caden Bond. A big bucket for him, maybe boost his confidence.
At the top is Taylor. Dream goes over here to the right side. Nice job bringing the defense in on the drive so far by Newcastle. Welch thought about the three, passes it back over to Hinton. His shot no good. Welch there with the save. Back in the corner it goes to him. He looks inside. Thompson back out. Welch 3, shot no good. Bond with the rebound.
And that's 2 really bad looks from beyond the arc in a row from Newcastle as those three-point shooting woes continue here late in the third quarter.
2:22 to play in the third as Fernie continues to stay hot in the third quarter, knocking that one down.
Have yourself a third quarter Jaden Fernie. He's getting it done from beyond the arc. He's being shifty down low, being physical. He's playing well on both sides of the ball. He has been a spark plug here for the Eagles.
10 points here in the third quarter for that young man. 2 minutes to play in this quarter. Delta with the lead on defense. Inside it goes to Thompson, and the late whistle there, I believe, going to call either Bond or Maynard there for the reach-in.
And that happens sometimes, especially with high school kids. They get a little caught up in the moment. They get a little aggressive on defense. You just have to be humbled a little bit by the officials sometimes, and it'll be Newcastle basketball.
That one does, in fact, go against Bond, his first, team's third. So 4 fouls to 3 in favor of Delta. They lead by 3, 1:52 to play in the third quarter. Driving in is Taylor. Shot is no good. We'll see if they call that foul on the floor or in the act of shooting. That is on Bond, so back-to-back fouls will send Taylor to the free throw line.
Yeah, that's rare to see back-to-back fouls like that from Bond. He's a junior, pretty seasoned guy. Usually has those under control for the most part. But he gets blamed for 2 in a row here.
No harm, no foul as of now on the free throw, as the first one is no good. This next one comes from Werner Financial. Visit Werner Financial at wernerfinancial.com. And again, no harm, no foul as both free throws for Newcastle come short off the iron. Delta still with a 3-point lead, 1:40 to play here in the third quarter.
Rare to see Colin Taylor miss both free throws from the charity stripe. He was 25 for 31 on the season heading into tonight. Usually money from the free throw line.
Damari Hood skipped over to Fernie. He's got the ball out on the right wing. This is Bond. Nice drive, but loses the ball. Recovers. Tried to just throw it up as a saving grace. They're going to say Thompson had the ball ricochet off of him for Newcastle. So a break there for Delta as Bond got caught in the air, nowhere to pass it, and just threw it up towards the hoop.
Yeah, kind of entered panic mode that time. Lucky that it did bounce off of a green jersey. It's going to remain Delta basketball. Continuing to hustle, though, is Bond, even though he doesn't have a whole lot of points.
Here's Damari Hood, swings it into the backcourt. Nice job by Fernie to let that ball go past him into the backcourt. He's guarded up top by Taylor. Again, Fernie has 10 points here in this third quarter. His team leads by 3, a minute to play in the third. Behind the back dribble, nothing there. It'll bring the ball back to the top. Bond with the head fake. So we'll see if Delta, it looks for something down low as they bring it to Hood. He'll swing it back up. That will be a charge on Fernie. He's calling for a flop. They are not going to call one.
And to be honest with you, Chris, I think Fernie just shook the defender so bad that he hit the floor. There was a little bit of contact, and obviously he's not happy about it. I wouldn't be if I was him either. But I think at the end of the day, the officials got the right call. Could have been consequential, though, as we've only got a one-possession game here in quarter number 3.
So Fernie, with 3 fouls, 10 points in this quarter, he has to take a seat. 35 to play in the third. The Eagles up by 3, playing defense here. They have 5 fouls, 4 fouls for Newcastle. The 5 count is on and now broken on the dribble by Hinton. Back up top to Butler, guarded by Maynor. This is a good one-on-one battle here as Maynor is all inside Butler and now forces him to pick up his dribble, and that will make Coach Daniel Cox take a timeout to talk things over. It's a 30-second timeout, so we will stay here. I want to thank one of our sponsors, Sullivan Hardware and Garden, with locations at 46th in Pennsylvania and Indianapolis, Indiana. Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan at 114th Street and Allisonville Road, in Fishers, 71st in Keystone in Indianapolis, and also in Cicero. So what are you seeing out there, Sam, as we approach the end of this third quarter, Delta leading by 3?
Well, I just kind of want to examine what Newcastle's talking about in the huddle right now. They've played really a more complete game than Delta, to be honest. Delta has more than doubled their total from the first half here in quarter number 3. They've just had a prolific offensive quarter. But if you're Newcastle, you just want to get back to the basics. When they play textbook basketball and move the ball around well with some nice dribble drive moves, they get nice buckets. They have the size advantage underneath, as we've talked about. They're able to take these Delta guys on all the way to the hoop. It's just whether or not they're able to convert. This is a big bucket coming up here, though, for them. Down by 3.
So Welch across the timeline with 8 seconds to play here in the third quarter. He'll come off the screen to the right, moving his men in motion. Nice back tap by Bond. Hood can't get it away as he was going to attempt a desperation heave. But in any case, 29-26 is the score. Delta with the lead. 1 period to play when we come back here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com.
Every day is a great day to buy a vehicle at Greg Hubler Ford.
Because every vehicle comes with our Greg Hubler promise. On top of scheduled maintenance with your vehicle, you'll also enjoy complimentary roadside assistance, service pickup, and drop-off. And a free car wash and quick wash every time you service at Greg Hubler Ford.
We're always finding new ways to put our guests first.
Mosey on into Muncie.
Greg Hubler Ford, promise kept.
Hi, I'm Steve Hartley, owner and founder of High Gear Marketing, a digital advertising company focusing on data to help businesses improve market share and drive new customers. Are you tired with the lack of accountability from your current vendors? Are you frustrated with your return on investment? Well, my program is different. You actually don't pay unless you sell something. High Gear Marketing takes all the risk. You have zero to lose. If you're interested, text me at 317-523-4100.
Back here at Delta High School, the Eagles with a 29-26 lead, 1 period to play here in this ball game, and it's a tale of 2 halves when you look at both ball clubs. Delta had 6 in the first, 8 in the second, 15 there in the third. Vice versa for Newcastle, 12 in the first, 8 in the second, and 6 in the third.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, Chris. A tale of two halves, but the inconsistencies have been there for both teams, which makes this fourth quarter so exciting. Which team is going to be on, which is going to be off, only time will tell, but I think we're going to have a down-to-the-wire ball game.
To give you a foul update, Delta with 5 fouls as Amari Hood shakes his man. The Dirk Nowitzki turnaround jumper, no good, and 4 fouls for Newcastle.
Another unlucky shot from Hood. He's created a lot of good opportunities, just can't get buckets to drop.
The nice spin move left short there by Ethan Hinton, and back we go. Hood, we'll see if he can convert here, and unfortunately called for an offensive foul. The fans here disagree.
I'm not with the fans on this one. I think the defender definitely got his feet set that time for Newcastle, and it's just not Hood's night. Usually 12.7 points per game. He has not been anywhere near that total tonight, really struggling on the offensive side.
Yes, so 30 seconds passed here in this fourth quarter. That's Damari Hood's second foul of the ball game, but more importantly, the 6th foul for the Eagles as they lead by 3. The fouls from here on out will result in the Trojans heading to the free throw line. Another strip and steal. Maynor will hand it off to Fernie. Now back to Maynor. Kind of laughs as he gets up, not realizing he was diving after the ball, and so was his teammate.
Yeah, Manor's such a fun guy to watch, always smiling out there on the court. Only stands at 5'7", but he is a force out there, knows how to be physical, fun basketball to watch.
Here's Wars. He's been quiet, but that will change now as he drops in yet another basket, and he gets things kicked off for the Eagles in the fourth.
Oh,
and
man.
A quick whistle as an illegal screen is called against Newcastle. So Delta, with a 5-point lead, gets the ball back.
Yeah, Newcastle shooting themselves in the foot right now. They've played fine defense, to be honest with you. They just aren't creating good shot opportunities, haven't handled the ball well at all in this second half, and an offensive foul like that, just a costly mistake that's really unnecessary for the Trojans, and now they're digging themselves into a hole a little bit, Chris.
If you're Newcastle here on defense, 15 points for Wars, 12 for Fernie. Of those 31 points, as Fernie takes a deep triple shot, no good. Lewis comes away with the board. So he clears things with 6:22 to play in the fourth quarter. His team trailing 31-26. Here's Hinton, nearly loses it. Nice spin dribble. Lewis underneath. He picks up his dribble, but is called for a walk, and back it goes to the Eagles.
Yeah, Tyson Lewis just got unlucky there, got the ball poked away, lost track of his steps, and really kind of unfortunate for him that he turns the ball over again for Newcastle, but they're going to need some big defense here to try and turn it into some offensive play.
So 2 minutes have ticked off the clock here in the fourth quarter as we have 6 minutes to play. 5-point lead by the Eagles with the basketball. Right side, Maynor. Bounce pass underneath. Blake Jones cannot get it to fall, and a tip out of bounds. They're going to say it went off Hinton. He's trying to plead his case, saying it was off Wars, but to no avail, and we'll stay here with Delta.
Ball might not have dropped that time for the Eagles, but that was some of the best ball movement I've seen from Delta in this game.
Fernie looks to get it in. Here's Bond. Eagles continuing to move the ball around the perimeter until they can find a driving lane. As I say that, Fernie takes off. His reverse layup is no good. Welch with the board. Trying to get past Amari Hood, who's playing tough defense, and forces Welch to pick up his dribble. They're going to call a foul, however, on Hood.
And I think that's going to send Welch to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. Unfortunate for Hood. And now if you're the Eagles the rest of the way, it's going to be the Trojans shooting free throws. That's how you get back into this game. So Delta's definitely going to want to clean things up, make sure they play clean basketball on the defensive side.
Absolutely a chance for Welch to score with the clock stopped here at 5:34. First free throw is good, so he will be rewarded with a second. That second free throw is built by Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Visit Universal at universalrfg.com or give them a call at 317-257-0709. Second one is good as the Trojans trim this Delta lead 2-3, 31-28 with 5:30 to play in the ballgame. Bond comes off the Wars screen, back out into the corner, nice drive, It ends up into the hands of Hood as the Eagles look to set up their offense. Fernie will swing it right side. Manor comes off the pick, back out to Hood. Got his man in the air, step back triple. No good, so the shooting woes continue for Damari Hood. Other end, Welch, he'll take a three. He'll tie it up. We have 31 all, 4:45 to play in the fourth quarter. Fans now on their feet.
My goodness, Gavin Welch, he's taken over this game here at the start of quarter number 4. And if you're Newcastle, you have to look to your star, a guy like Gavin Welch, to create scoring opportunities like that. He is taking on Damari Hood head on. It's been fun basketball to watch from both sides now.
Wars picks up his dribble, ball back out top. The air ball, they're going to contest that it was tipped. Coach Detweiler adamant, but the ball will go back over to Newcastle. Tied 31 all, 4:21 to play here in this fourth quarter.
What a finish to this ball game we've got in store for us here. We're only about halfway through this fourth quarter, tied up at 31. Neither team's been relatively spectacular on the offensive side of the ball. It's definitely been a defensive slugfest, physical game, and makes for some fun basketball here in the Hoosier State.
Both teams average offensively and defensively points given up just a shade over 50 a ball game, so 31-31 is low scoring. By the way, both of these teams shoot it. We'll see if Welch can continue to get the lid off of the rim, off the basket. He can't, but there to clean it up is Hinton, who, Sam, you mentioned is the Swiss Army knife for two.
Yeah, and they ought to give the assist that time to Welch. The basket was nearly an air ball, and it was a good rebound by Hinton.
Nice up and under move, no good. Rebound and put back by Wars, and he will head to the line to add to his total and hoping to put the Eagles up again by 1.
Yeah, and you hear this place explode as soon as that bucket drops and the whistle blows from Wars. He's electric underneath, really starting to find his rhythm, being physical. Took him a while to get rolling, but ever since that second quarter, he has been the guy for Delta.
Unfortunate foul for Newcastle, as well as that goes against Ethan Hinton, his 4th. Free throw falls for Wars, and that will put Delta back up by 1, 34-33, 3:45 to play here in the fourth quarter. And a full timeout taken by Coach Cox of Newcastle. We'll take it with them here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com.
Try our easy-to-use Shop by Payment tool. You set what you want to spend, and our True Payments engine will find the best matches across our entire inventory. You can even add your trade-in. You'll get customized financing for every vehicle matching your budget. You'll be amazed at what you can buy. There is no impact on your credit and no obligation to buy. Shop by Payment.
So a tight finish coming here at Delta High School. 34-33 is your score. The Eagles with the lead. Sam, as we go down the stretch here, Ethan Hinton, who has a lot of points for Newcastle, has 4 fouls. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Foul situation in general as well. 7 fouls for Delta, 6 for Newcastle. But just a great spring of life here in the third and fourth quarter for both ball clubs.
Yeah, and listen to this crowd. It says it all here at Delta High School. Both sides showing out. I know we talked about some of the Newcastle fans made the trek, and they've definitely been loud as well to match the Delta faithful here at home. But such great basketball on the floor as well, and we're up for a great finish here with 3:45 to play.
So Welch, who averages 16.5 a game for Newcastle, will be the inbounder for the Trojans. The bounce pass into Butler gets us back underway. 3:40 to play in this ball game. 1-point lead by Delta. Welch drives in, loses possession. They're going to call a foul on the drive. That foul will go on Maynor, his second, team's 8th.
Yeah, I think he just caught Welch on the way up that time, but Welch is a pretty good free throw shooter, so it might be a costly one for Manor and company.
Welch with 11 in the ball game, looks to add to his total. Does so on the first free throw, but more importantly, ties things up here at 34 all, 3:33 to play in this ball game. This next free throw is brought to you by Greg Hubler Ford at the corner of Nebo Road in McGilliard and Muncie. Promises kept at Greg Hubler Ford at GregHublerFord.com. That second one falls through, and yet again a lead change here late in this ball game as the Trojans lead 35-34. Delta continuing to move the ball around the perimeter until they can hope to find something inside or an open three. Fernie drives in, gets in the air. The tough one will fall for Fernie with 14 points now in the ball game.
Unbelievable body control for only a junior in high school there. Goes up, has to cock that right arm back to be able to lay it in, and that was spectacular finish down low from Fernie.
Welch, jab step right, comes back left, keeps his dribble in the lane. The fadeaway jumper, no good. Damari Hood there for the rebound.
He might not be having a great night scoring the basketball, but Damari Hood is everywhere, all over this court, and that's the reason he's still in this game right now, despite the low point total.
2:39 to play in the fourth quarter. 36-35 your score. The Eagles with the lead and the basketball. Here's Fernie, keeps his dribble alive baseline. Nice step up and under, step through. It's good with the left hand. 3-point lead now for the Eagles.
And that's back-to-back quarters. When Fernie gets rolling, he gets hot quickly, and those are huge buckets from him, and a big 3-point lead now for Delta.
So time soon will be of the essence. There's obviously no shot clock here in the state of Indiana. We tick towards 2 minutes to play. Newcastle trailing by 3 with the basketball. Driving in is Taylor. He swings it back out to Hinton. In the corner, Butler's 3. No good. Ball batted around, and Maynard will come away with it. And just like that, he will slow things down and take a little bit of air out of this basketball.
Delta has been the more physical of these two teams here in the second half, and it's why they've been able to get back into this game. You saw it there on the rebound. There was a chance for Newcastle to grab it, but the Eagles have more will to bring it down and force another offensive possession.
So they are going to skip the ball around and force Newcastle to come out and guard. Fernie on the drive. Back out Maynard. He'll step it back out towards midcourt.
You got to wonder at what point Newcastle's going to foul. It's going to send Delta to the free throw line in the bonus, but they might want to take that chance here soon.
Coach Cox wants the defense to come up and pressure much further out towards midcourt. 1:05 to play here in the fourth quarter. And there's finally the whistle at 1:05 to play. And this is where fundamentals comes into play, Sam. Knock down free throws, and it could be the ball game.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Newcastle let it go that long. Not a lot of time to work with now. It is a very close ball game. 3 points separating these two teams is nothing for these two offenses, but they could have a two-possession ball game to fight back after the Fernie free throws here.
Well, the faithful here hoping Fernie. Oh, and just like that. Oh, but it goes off of Newcastle. Unfortunate there for Hinton, as a plethora of Trojans collided there in the air, and unfortunately it will go back to Delta, or stay with Delta. We're going to have a timeout here. We're going to take that timeout with these teams and be back with the remaining 1:04 to play in this ball game here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com.
Looking for training that makes a difference? Then Genesis Sports Performance is for you. Whether you're a grade school, high school, or college athlete, or just looking to get back into shape, Genesis has customized programs providing rapid gains in strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Genesis features a 7,000 square foot facility with state-of-the-art weight room and huge turf surface. Call Genesis at 386-7459 or visit them at GenesisSportsPerformance.com.
So we are back here at Delta. The Eagles lead 38-35. Delta will have the basketball coming out of the timeout break from underneath. An unfortunate deflection by the Trojans will keep things with the Eagles. But Sam, Fouls and time are really the issues now for the Trojans.
Yeah, for Newcastle, you talked about fundamentals, and I just want to go back to that last rebound, or the attempt at the rebound, rather. It was definitely well within reach for Newcastle to haul it in. They just weren't physical with the basketball. They didn't come out and grab it with two hands, and it's just little things like that, shooting themselves in the foot. They're going to want to be fundamentally sound here in the last minute and 4 seconds if they want a chance to get back in this ballgame.
Jake Elliott sends it into play. Wars, who's been all over the place offensively tonight, can't get that to fall. And Newcastle now with a chance to cut it to 2 or tie the ball game. Hinton down the lane. They're going to say no shot. The foul was on the floor. So unfortunately for him, it will be a 1-and-1 situation.
Yeah, and Hinton's usually a pretty good free throw shooter, not the best on the team. Just 29 for 43 heading into the night, but he knows when to hit him when the time is right. We'll see if he's able to convert on these two. It could be 2 big ones. And maybe make fouling Delta sit in the stomachs of Newcastle a little better if he's able to connect on both of these.
So Blake Jones was the man with the foul. That's his second as he heads to the bench. $13 for Hinton, looking to make it 14 and cut the lead to 1. Cannot do so. We have a whistle as Lewis was fouled by Damari Hood. And so I'm off the. I caught a break there. No announcer curse on me because they get to go back to the free throw line.
And Tyson Lewis, another guy, he was the one who actually deflected it out of bounds right before the commercial break. He's had 2 huge boards, got fouled on that second chance bucket, and he's making up for that little mistake right before we went to the break. We'll see if he can tie the game with his second free throw now.
What a chance to make your first point of the evening with 51.2 to play. Your team trailing by 2. Now Lewis. Short there, and Damari Hood comes away with it. Delta with the 1-point lead.
And you're going to need a quick foul now if you're Newcastle. Try and keep this game within reach within as much time as possible.
Hood gets past Welch, finds a cutting Blake Jones. They are not going to count the basket. They will call it on the floor, but that will send Delta to the double bonus, so he'll have 2 shots either way.
I like that call from the official, though, saying the foul was on the floor. It was pretty obvious that the Delta defender grabbed Newcastle before, or the Newcastle defender rather grabbed the Delta shooter well before he left the floor. So
that defensive player was Colin Taylor. That is his first, like I mentioned, the 10th on the team. Jones free throw off the mark. Sorry, it was a 1-and-1, not 2 shots. But Damari Hood is fouled on the conversion for the rebound, and he will head to the line.
And that's huge. This place is chaos right now. The crowd on both sides getting super loud. For Delta, there's cheers right now, but for Newcastle, lots of boos. It's been back and forth. What a fun atmosphere we've had to play a game of basketball in on a Friday night.
So still a 1-and-1, 9 fouls for Newcastle. That one went on Welch. Free throw falls for Damari Hood. His first point of the ball game.
And if you're going to have a first point, that's the one for Delta as he makes it a 2-point game here with about 33 seconds to go.
We're going to stay here, 33.6 to play in the fourth quarter, as Sam just mentioned, 39-37 the score. We'll see if Damari Hood coming out of this break will extend that to 3. Either way, if he does extend it to 3 and it goes back to Newcastle, they still have a chance to tie. I mean, this is what you want on a Friday night in the state of Indiana, right, Tim?
Absolutely. It's been a great basketball game. At halftime, we wondered if maybe Delta was going to struggle scoring the rest of the way. They came out hot at the start of the third quarter, and they have continued now back into this game. They have the lead. They've got Newcastle on the ropes, but it's coming down to the wire here just like we hoped it would. I think we're in store for a fantastic final 33 seconds.
Well, either way, with the win, it will be Newcastle. They would move to 10-9. If Delta gets a victory, they'll move to 12-8. And as we mentioned a couple breaks ago, or coming out of that break, I should say, obviously both of these teams gearing up for sectional time, and this would be a nice little springboard as they head towards the last 3 to 4 games of their season.
Yeah, these two teams very compatible, especially on the record sheet, both 1-4 in the Hoosier Heritage Conference, as we've mentioned. To be able to come in here and get a win like this is a huge confidence booster down the stretch. It's just going to come down to which team wants it more here in the final 30 seconds or so.
So Damari Hood, the junior, will step to the line for his second bonus free throw. That one no good, so a 2-point game. 30 seconds to play as Welch comes across midcourt. His team trailing by 2. Spin dribble, drives right down the lane. Shot is up, no good. Wanted a whistle. Wars comes away with the basketball over to Hood. We'll see if they end up fouling. They're going to try and Trapper get a 10-second call. He gets it up to Maynor, who gets around the defender. Jump stop in the lane, and a timeout by Detweiler will keep things here for the Eagles. 2-point lead, 8.9 to play in the ball game. My, oh my.
Yeah, lots to unpack from that play. Let's go back to the shot from Welch. I think it was very ill-advised to have a turnaround jumper like that well outside the paint. Look, Welch is the guy that you want to have the ball in his hand, but you got to have a better look than that. This is a team that's not struggled in sharing the basketball. When they do stretch the offense out and do a little dribble drive action, that's when they've had their most success. So a turnaround jumper with a hand in your face from Welch was not really the avenue there. And then they weren't able to get a foul with Delta moving in transition. It was nice work by the Eagles to move the ball the other way and get it out of the backcourt, and then eventually coming away with a timeout. You saw the frustration on the Newcastle coaches' faces. They really wanted a foul there, and the officials are just keeping their whistles in their pockets. So some tough breaks back-to-back for the Newcastle Trojans.
The fans who did pay to come watch this game live are in for a treat. Again, this is senior night for the Eagles of Delta High School. And the fans from Newcastle holding their breath as they did a good job making the trip over here as well. Their team trailing by 2. 39-37 is your score, 8.9 to play in this ball game. Obviously, Newcastle will try and get a steal first thing, and if they can't do so, one would assume they'll foul as quick as they can. Delta, it looks like they're saying, can run the baseline here. They'll stay put in the corner. Fernie, who had a great third quarter and early start to the fourth quarter, is fouled and will head to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Fernie shot pretty well from the free throw stripe tonight as well, but that was a good job by the Newcastle defense, just making sure that Fernie didn't get a shot up there, because if he drops one for an and one, that could be game over.
So the first one falls. Give him 17 now on the evening.
Yeah, spectacular night for Fernie. All 17 coming in this second half, and this is the game right here. With 4 points, they can make it a 4-point game.
He does just that. 41-37 is the score. 7.8 to play in this ball game. It will be a 30-second timeout, so we will stay here as well. Quickly want to give you a rundown of all of the great sponsors who help this IndianaHighSchoolSports.com production work. Universal Roofing and Exteriors, Greg Hubler Ford, Genesis Sports Performance, Ray Skillman, Northeast Kia, Tom Wood Nissan, Werner Financial, and Sullivan Hardware and Garden. All right, Sam. Pretty much the ball game here. We'll see what happens. Any predictions?
Man, well, if you're Newcastle, there's 2 ways you can go about this, okay? You can go with a quick 3, which they've shot the 3 ball not very well at all tonight. That would make it a 1-point game. It would definitely make a foul against Delta more palatable. But you could go for a quick bucket down low, but you got to move the ball really quickly. If you get the 2, then you have to try and force the steal as quickly as possible. Perhaps look for another timeout even before this game is over.
Well, some of the fans are trying to get a head start as they're slowly walking towards the exits. And in comes the ball, driving down the lane. The floater is up and good as Ethan Hinton knocks it down with 2.5 to play. Eagles with a 2-point lead. and they will have the basketball when we come back after this full time out here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com.
Drive home your new Kia from the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue. We have brand new Kias arriving daily.
Plus, we have a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from.
And payments as low as $199 a month.
We service all makes and models.
And we'll buy your old car on the spot. Right, Oscar?
Y hablamos español.
Come see us at the all-new Ray Skillman Northeast Kia on Shadeland Avenue.
It's not just a car dealership for me. This is my dealership.
Just minutes from anywhere in Indy or online at rayskillmanshadeland.com.
Back here out of the full timeout break. Delta will have the basketball, leading by 2, 41-39, 2.5 to play in this ball game. Both teams in the double bonus. So Newcastle will look to foul quickly. We'll see if they do this home run pass. And there, Damari Hood tried it, and it goes to Maynard. Maynard gets fouled with 1.2. The home run pass, you had the two guys at the top of the zone there, both sprinting down, and then one guy leak out and try to get behind the defense, but nice job by Newcastle to sniff that out, and now fundamental free throws could be the ball game.
Yeah, and Johnny Manor hasn't shot a ton of free throws this year, only 16 free throws shot on the year. He's only made 9 of them. This would be a couple of crucial ones here, though.
He's got no points on the evening. And he will change that there and extend the lead to 3 for the Delta Eagles. This next one could all but be the nail in the coffin, knocking on wood here for the Delta fans. So just want to let you know I'm not trying to jinx the young man at the line. Second one rattles home, 4-point lead, 1.2 seconds remaining. The full court heave by Taylor falls short into the hands of Fernie, ever so fitting as he had a great second half. Delta Eagles 43-39, your winners here on this Friday night in IHAA play. Up here close to Muncie, we're going to step aside just for a moment. Sam and I will come back to give you post-game stats and get you on your way. Thanks again for tuning into the broadcast here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com. Go ahead, tell a friend, look around the website if you have a chance, and follow us on Twitter as well. But like I said, we're going to step aside for just a moment and be back with stats on this victory for Delta, 43-39.
Universal Roofing and Exteriors is a family-owned and operated business, providing care and honest service for over 30 years. Universal has always been a little bit different. Their certified and trained employees don't just provide excellent work at a fair low price. They care about their customers, simply providing great customer service. Quality, honesty, dependability. That's Universal Roofing and Exteriors. Call us today at 317-257-0779.
Try our easy-to-use Shop by Payment tool. You set what you want to spend, and our True Payments engine will find the best matches across our entire inventory. You can even add your trade-in. You'll get customized financing for every vehicle matching your budget. You'll be amazed at what you can buy. There is no impact on your credit and no obligation to buy. Shop by Payment.
Hi, I'm Steve Hartley, owner and founder of High Gear Marketing, a digital advertising company focusing on data to help businesses improve market share and drive new customers. Are you tired with the lack of accountability from your current vendors? Are you frustrated with your return on investment? Well, my program is different. You actually don't pay unless you sell something. High Gear Marketing takes all the risk. You have zero to lose. If you're interested, text me at 317-523-4100.
(43-39) your final score here at Delta High School. The Eagles come away with a victory over the Trojans of Newcastle, moving their record up to 12-8 on the season. Newcastle falls to 10-9. Nice job by both of these ball clubs. 6 players, I should say, scored for Newcastle. They were led in scoring by Ethan Hinton with 15, followed by Welch with 13. Only 5 players scored for Delta, but they were led in scoring by Jackson Wars with 18, followed by Fernie with 17, 15 of those 17 coming in the second half of play. Only 1 point for Damari Hood, who averages 12.6 a game. It's kind of a shocker there. Bond averages 6.4. He only had 4. And only 2 points for Johnny Maynard, but those 2 points sealed the game at the charity stripe to close things out. And so when you look at it, we said it was a tale of two halves. Sam, what did you see from first half to second half for both of these ball clubs, and what do you think ultimately helped the Eagles to secure a big victory here this evening?
I think the number one thing that secured the victory tonight for Delta was the fundamentals, especially in that second half. Down the stretch, they were absolute money from the free throw line. They were taking care of business on defense. They were hustling for boards. Yeah, there were fouls on both sides, but that was just the tale of this game. It was a physical match from both sides. Newcastle was shooting themselves in the foot, especially in that second half. They were not taking care of the basketball. A tale of two halves is the best way to put it. I mean, it was Newcastle who was being fundamentally sound, moving the basketball, creating shots in the first half, and then it just fell off a cliff. Something got into Delta at halftime to be able to climb back into this game, and they finally put themselves in a winning position down the stretch in the fourth quarter. It was great play by the Eagles, and ultimately one of their more impressive wins of the season.
341st career win for Coach Detweiler of Delta. And if you're a Delta fan, you have 3 more games until the Hoosier Heritage Conference sectional play gets underway. The 14th at Rushville, February 17th at Shelbyville, February 24th at Oak Hill. So the remainder of their games on the road for Newcastle. Pendleton Heights on the 14th at home hosting Eastern Hancock on the 18th. Their lone remaining road game on the season at Lapel, February 21st, and then February 24th hosting Muncie Central before they get ready for sectional play. That's all we have here this evening, but before we let you go, again, want to thank our committed sponsors, Universal Roofing and Exteriors, Greg Hubler Ford, Genesis Sports Performance, Ray Skillman, Tom Wood, Werner Financial, Sullivan Hardware and Garden, and of course, the faculty and coaches and athletic department here at Delta High School for hosting us for this call. 43-39, your final score. I'm Chris Presley, joined by Sam Niger. We'll see you later here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com.